Hey, it's Beata from BA English Coaching.
And Sarah.
We are talking about an exceptional woman. What is the reason behind our decision, Sarah?
Because 2022 is the 70th anniversary of her being on the throne. 70 years of duty and work for her country.
Her story is so inspiring. When you learn the language, you should also learn something about the culture. As we said previously, we did a video about Prince Philip. Culture can be considered the fifth skill. So learn the language and plus get to know the culture.
I don't think there are many people alive in the UK at the moment who have known any other person on the throne. They would have to be the same age as the Queen, I suppose, to remember having George VI on the throne, which is everybody's life. She's been on the throne. It's extraordinary thought.
British history is fascinating. I mean, I've always loved this history. It's all the kings and queens. And Queen Elizabeth II is just truly inspirational and fascinating woman.
Yeah.
We have prepared this lesson. We will give you a quiz and to test your knowledge you already have about her and the monarchy and what happened before she became the queen. Today's lesson is part 1, so we are only talking about her childhood.
Right.
As always, you will have some pronunciation practice, so you can repeat after Sarah to work on your pronunciation, intonation, expression, rhythm and speed. And at the end of the lesson, we have prepared a few idioms.
Yes.
Sarah has chosen like the idioms that you may encounter.
Or you might like to use.
Or you may like to use. And it's all something to do with the word queen. We like our lessons to be inspirational, and we have chosen 2 quotes.
Let us not take ourselves too seriously. None of us has a monopoly on wisdom.
What does this quote tell us about her?
Her humility.
And also, I think her sense of humor.
Yeah.
Maybe it's indicating that she doesn't want to take herself seriously.
She's known 14 prime ministers. She could have said that to any one of them.
Maybe she did.
Maybe she did. She should have.
Yes, and then the second quote.
I believe that young or old, we have as much to look forward to with confidence and hope as we have to look back on with pride. I don't think there are many people who can look back on a lifetime of work like hers with as much pride, because she really has not ever put a foot wrong.
Yes, and I think...
And none of us can say that.
Exactly. I think this is so extraordinary about her. That was Sarah just said.
Yeah. She's never said the wrong thing, ever. She never comments on events, people, ever. She stays absolutely, as the sovereign, out of all that.
Now, have a look at the words. They are all connected with her. How much do you know about Queen Elizabeth II? Pause the video now and have a think. How are these people or the dates connected with her? Let's have a look at the answers. I've got Sarah here, and okay. Sarah loves history.
This isn't history, this is my lifetime.
Not really.
What do you mean, history?
This is not How old are
That's offensive.
You love history?
Yeah, I love
subject.
Yeah.
But what do you mean this is your lifetime?
Well, this is still current. I mean, okay.
Yes, but you are not that old.
No.
If you said
I'm not 95.
I know.
For sure.
If you said like this is my lifetime, to me it was like I am that old because I remember.
Okay, yeah.
How did you mean it?
That all this has happened within some of it.
Yes,
has
some
happened
of
within
it.
my life. History is things that happened before. Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, but if I say you like history, it means that you love studying, reading about it, and it is so true about you.
Yes, that is true.
Yeah. We'll give you the answers now. So first one, please.
April the 21st, 1926 is the date of the Queen's birth.
And where was she born?
Mayfair, England. How old is she now? She's 95.
Amazing. Okay.
Lilibet was her childhood nickname of affection from, I think, probably her father. And Princess Margaret was her sister.
Okay, and then
the younger sister. George V was her grandfather. King George VI was her father. And the woman we always have called the Queen Mother was her mother, which is an honourable title. She's not called the Queen's Mother. Her title was Queen Mother. Okay, Prince Philip, who died very recently, was her well-loved husband.
Yes, and we did a separate video about Prince Philip, so if you would like to find out more, you can, feel free to watch it.
Prince Charles is her eldest son. Princess Anne is next after Prince Charles, her first daughter.
And the only daughter.
Only daughter. Then there's Prince Andrew, and lastly, Prince Edward. But the number to remember is that she's had 70 years on the throne.
And it happened yesterday, so it happened on the 6th of February 2022.
And on the 2nd of June 1953 was the coronation.
Her 70 years in February, and the coronation happened a year later. And we will talk about why she had to wait for 16 months to be crowned.
Which I don't know the answer to.
But we will find out in
Someone
our next
will know.
video. As we said at the beginning, we gave you the quiz, and now we've got a little text about her childhood. It's so interesting, isn't it?
Fascinating.
There are some things, sometimes you feel you are not ready for anything, like you would like to do something and you feel, oh, the time is not right. But now you will find out that even the Queen wasn't ready.
Yeah.
Things happened in her life.
She has no control over.
A, she didn't think she would be the Queen. And B, she just happened to be the Queen way too early, maybe.
Because her father died long before anyone. It was very young, comparatively young. Thought she had another at least 10 years.
Listen to the text and think about the meaning behind, and then you can always pause the video and repeat after Sarah to practice, to work on your pronunciation.
Queen Elizabeth II's reign has been described as the best and the longest in British history. 6th of February 2022 marked the 70th anniversary of her becoming Queen. It was in 1929 when George V, her grandfather, expressed his feelings that his granddaughter could one day ascend the British throne.
You'll see,
he told Lilibet's father.
Your brother will never become king. I remember we thought, how ridiculous.
The Queen Mother recalled in later years.
We both looked at each other and thought, nonsense.
In 1933, according to a royal story, little Lilibet informed her sister Margaret, born in 1930,
I am 3 and you are 4.
Confused, Margaret replied,
No, you are not. I am 3 and you are 7.
It took time for Margaret to realise that her older sister was not talking about age, but about their positions in the order of succession to the British throne. However, December 1936 became the dramatic turning point when her uncle David, King Edward VIII, shocked the world and his family by abdicating the throne to marry Wallis Simpson. She was an American divorced mistress. This most extraordinary decision resulted in the 10-year-old Elizabeth moving up into the direct line of succession. Her father, Prince Albert, took the title King George VI, and his older daughter became his immediate heir, the very first in line.
Papa is going to be king,
Elizabeth informed her 6-year-old sister.
Does that mean one day you are going to be queen?
Asked Margaret.
Yes,
replied Elizabeth.
I suppose it does.
As you would expect, Elizabeth probably continued to pray for a brother, but there was no brother coming to the rescue. The little girl, who had been raised among her horses and dogs, had to prepare for the challenge of eventually becoming the Queen. From an early age, sharp-thinking Elizabeth seems to have understood the drama of the royal show in which she would be destined to play an astonishing leading role.
Now that we've read the text about Elizabeth's childhood, what do you think? What do you think of it? Is it an extraordinary story? What are your thoughts? Since I've got Sarah with me, And she's English, and as she said, she lived most of her, how did you say it?
Well, I've never known another monarch.
So she knows a lot, and she loves reading, don't you?
Yes.
Can you maybe offer your thoughts and your knowledge about this text?
George V. I don't know a great deal about him. I don't think there's a great deal to be said about him. It is reported, apparently, that he was a very stern and distant sort of parent. George VI, her father, was much more of a father. They had a much nicer family life.
Okay.
So she was born into a relatively normal family, except, of course, she never went to school. She was taught privately by a governess in the palace. So she never mixed with other children like everybody else does. So she had an odd upbringing, but a loving one.
And then what about the Queen Mother?
The Queen Mother always gave the impression of being a very gentle, harmless little old lady, but actually she was a real power and a great influence on her daughter and the family in general. Margaret.
So, yes.
Oh, well, she hit the tabloid press endlessly with her behaviour, which in the 1960s was just beginning to be acceptable, shall we say. She was a wild one.
Uncle David, King Edward VIII.
Yeah.
That was shocking.
Yeah, in those days.
But then, as you said, so he was the king only for like 11 months.
Yeah, less than a year.
And then he abdicated because of this American woman.
The thing is, he had to abdicate because he wanted to marry a divorced woman, which was unacceptable. And when Princess Margaret wanted to marry a divorced man, or a man who would have to divorce to marry her, she was encouraged into not marrying him and to give him up, which broke her heart, apparently. And then, of course, now Prince Charles is in line to be king, and they are both divorced.
Yes.
Times have changed.
Exactly. George VI becomes the king.
Yeah.
And then there is a beautiful film about him, King's Speech.
Yes.
So what are your thoughts about him?
He, poor man, never expected to be king and certainly didn't want the job. He was deeply and profoundly upset, we are told, on hearing the news that his brother was abdicating. And he was very introverted, as is evidenced by his stammer or stutter. And as you say, there's a very good film about that. He was not a very strong man physically, and his wife, the Queen Mother, to her dying day, blamed Edward VIII for her husband's early death due to the strain and stress of being king. She was convinced that was why he died so early. Right or wrong, I don't know.
Elizabeth had been raised among her horses and dogs. She likes a particular breed of dogs.
Corgis, yes.
Yes.
She's a countrywoman, which is why I think she gets on with Camilla, who is the same. They like, the Queen loves going to the races, and she trains a lot of horses for races at Ascot and places. And she's happiest riding her horse in the country, preferably in Scotland, with her dogs around her. And that's what she would have liked to have been.
So hopefully you have learned some fascinating and interesting, maybe shocking, surprising facts about Queen Elizabeth II. And you think now that she is truly an extraordinary woman and a monarch. Yes, phenomenal. We have now chosen 5 idioms, as we said at the beginning of the video.
They are ones you will hear.
So the first one is
Queen Bee.
Queen Bee. If you hear the idiom Queen Bee, what does it mean? Do you have any idea? You can always pause the video. Okay, idioms are expressions which cannot be translated literally. There is a hidden meaning behind them. So pause the video, think. What do you think the idiom Queen Bee means?
It means the person who thinks she's the most important person.
Do you know any people who think they are the Queen Bee?
I'm sure we all do.
Drama queen.
Ah, yeah, we all know those.
Yes, so who are they?
When I think of a drama queen, I think of a teenage girl as being typically a drama queen, where something happens and they are slamming doors and lots of tears and shrieks and shouting and whatever over usually a very small incident.
So if somebody refers to you as a drama queen,
It means you're making too much out of something.
and yeah, maybe you should think about changing your
Calm
reactions.
down.
Yes. Ice queen.
Ah, yes. That is someone who is obviously very chilly, very much not very outgoing or very friendly. So yeah, icy.
Reserved.
Yes.
Not showing any emotions.
Yeah. I'm probably not very friendly either.
Drag queen. Who are they?
They are men dressed up as women, though you know they're men dressed up. They're not pretending. Oh dear. Do you know what I mean? They are acting, usually very outrageously and usually very funnily, to be a woman. You know, with a full wig and everything. Oh, entertaining lot.
And the last one, the Queen's English.
Well, I would have said quite a few years back, that I speak the Queen's English. Then it became, I think, BBC English. Nowadays we call it received pronunciation.
So what kind of English are we talking about when we are talking about Queen's English, BBC English, and the received pronunciation?
The correct English, some people would say it's a London accent, as opposed to Yorkshire or all the other, or Scottish or whatever. The Queen's English is the correct English.
The question is, how many people speak the Queen's English or the received pronunciation?
Not even on the BBC, so I don't know, not many.
So how likely are you to hear the received pronunciation English? Apparently it's 7%.
Is it?
Yes, you are more likely to hear English from a non-native speaker of English than from a native speaker.
Really?
Yes. Let us know. What do you think? Do you think that people still speak received pronunciation, the Queen's English, and you are more likely to speak English with a non-native speaker? Let us know in the comments below.
Can I just
We would
say
like to hear.
that there are a lot of accents around the United Kingdom, and
Mm-hmm.
Glasgow accent I can't understand. So that is what I would say is not Queen's English or received pronunciation. It's a very pronounced accent. And there are lots of accents.
Yes.
It's quite hard to understand.
And even as Sarah said, she finds it difficult to understand English people, and she's English. And sometimes my students tell me, I do not understand English people. English people
don't understand each other in love.
Yes.
Yeah, quite often.
So maybe it's comforting to know that it's a common thing. So we hope you have enjoyed it and you have learned a little bit more about this phenomenal woman and something about the British history and as well as the language. We would like to end with another quote.
It's worth remembering that it is often the small steps, not the giant leaps, that bring about the most lasting change.
It's the small steps. It's the fact that you learn English every day. You think if you want to achieve something, always do something, take action, and always think about the small steps. If you have enjoyed the video, please like it, share it, and subscribe. There is another part coming. And as always, don't be the same. Be awesome. And know that you may not be ready, but still you can become an extraordinary person if you take small steps. Bye.
Bye-bye.